Hello everyone and welcome to our channel Homeopathy World. I am Dr. Samina and in today's lecture we are going to discuss the Workmen's Compensation Act 1923. Now the objective of this particular act was to provide the workmen or their dependents some kind of relief in case of accidents arising in the industry or in the course of employment and or causing either their death or disablement. This particular act is very important from your exam point of views, and if you have missed out on the other acts, please visit the playlist Forensic Medicine and Toxicology to refer the other acts. So let's start with the title and extent. This act may be called the Workmen's Compensation Act 1923. It extends to whole India and it applies to workmen employed in factories, mines, plantations, transport establishments, construction sites, railways, ships, circuses, and hazardous occupations, and also cooks employed in Schedule 2 of this Act. However, this Act does not apply to armed forces and those insured under Employee State Insurance Act 1948. Now, in the upcoming videos, we are going to study the Employee State Insurance Act 1948. Let's see the definitions that are going to come up during this act. So in this act, unless the context says otherwise, commissioner is appointed under section 20. Dependent means any relative of the deceased workman, completely or partially dependent on the deceased workman. Employer is any person, body, or manager of the employer or legal representative of the dead employer, and anyone who lends temporary or permanent services. So any employer, even if he takes employees on contract basis, will be issued as an employer in this act. Workmen under this act, in a case a railway servant, even if he is temporary on service, master or other crew members of the ship, captain or crew members of the aircraft, driver, cleaner, helper or mechanic in a vehicle, and a person recruited for work abroad by a company. So there are many companies who recruit their employees to work abroad. So these type of people who are recruited on the contract basis or on temporary basis are also termed as workmen under this act. So a person to be treated as workman is a person who is under the contract of employment or a person who has a master and servant relationship with the employer. So what are the employer's liability to pay compensation under section 3 of this act? So, the employer's liability is that the employee must be working during the act. So, when the accident takes place, the employee should be in his duty hours. He should be working at that point of time. So, the personal injury should be caused by accident. It should not be done wantedly or it should not be aimed. Third point is that accident should happen during the course of employment. If suppose if a employee resigns and after 10 minutes if the accident takes place, then the employer is not liable for compensation. Or suppose if the employee retires and this accident takes place within the campus of the company and with the machines of the company, but during that point of time the employee had just retired or had retired, so the employer is not liable to pay any compensation. So the employer is liable to pay compensation in case of personal injury or occupational diseases. So he can pay compensation for personal injury. Suppose if there is a cut or there is amputation due to any machineries, then the employer is liable to pay the compensation. Or if there is any occupational disease, like in cotton factories, in mining coal factories, coal mines, in cement factories, if the people are getting occupational diseases or if they are getting any lung diseases, the employer is liable to pay the compensation. Now, personal injuries include physical or mental injury and strain or shock caused by excitement. So even if the management is having any issues with the employee and there is some mental trauma or there is torture or there is harassment with the employee, the employer is liable to pay compensation in these kind of cases also. The employer's liability to pay compensation will be in the result of death or permanent or temporary disability to the employee. So any kind of physical or mental injury that can cause temporary disability in the employee or results in death or permanent disability of the employee, the employer has to pay the compensation. So the extension of employment, what is the extension of employment? In case where the employer provides the convenience like giving the travel services to his employees, like the buses, pick and drop service, and the employee has already left the place of employment premises but has not reached his home or he has not reached his destination or is still in the bus. So the pickup and drop service was provided by the employer, and if the accident happens in that bus or during the travel in that bus, the employer is liable to compensate to the employee. And in case of disablement, like temporary or partial disablement or complete or permanent disablement. Temporary or partial disablement is like fractures or any other kind of injury which is temporary and the person might recover from it. And the complete or permanent disablement is, for example, amputation, which is a complete or permanent disablement. And so what type of compensation has to be paid, or how much compensation has to be paid to the employee? So the amount of compensation is equal to 50% of the monthly wage of the employee into multiplied by relevant factor or 80,000 rupees, whichever is more. And in case of permanent or total disability, 60% of the monthly wage multiplied by relevant factor or 90,000 rupees, whichever is more. And in case of permanent partial disability, 60% of the monthly wage multiplied by relevant factor, and in case of temporary disablement, 25% of the monthly wage. So employer is not liable. So when is the employer not liable to pay compensation? He is not forced to pay compensation in these cases. So what are these cases? So if an injury does not result in disablement in 3 days, so if there is an accident that takes place at the workplace of the employee and it does not result in the disablement of the employee within 3 days of the accident, so if he becomes disabled on the 5th day or 6th day, the employer is not liable to pay the compensation. If it results in injury or death due to the following causes: if the worker was under the influence of drug or drinks, so if the worker was taking drugs or was drinking during his duty hours and due to his own mistake or his own ignorance or the influence of the drugs have caused this accident, then the employer is not liable to pay the compensation. Or if the worker did not follow the safety precautions as instructed. So suppose if it's for example in ships, when they are asked to go into the boiler room, they are asked to wear the boiler suits. So if at all some employee is not wearing the boiler suit and then some occupational hazard happens to him, so the company or the employer is not liable to pay compensation to him because he did not follow the safety precautions as he was instructed. And finally, if the employee has willfully or willingly removed the safety device to cause harm, so if he wants to cause harm to himself, that comes under suicide and that does not come under accident, and hence the employer is not liable to pay any compensation to the employee who has removed the safety devices to cause harm to himself. This was all about the Workmen's Compensation Act 1923, where we discussed about what are the objectives and title and extent and other definitions and compensation of this act. So I hope you liked the video. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to get the notification on our latest updates, and do comment on our video if you have any doubts regarding this act. Thank you for watching our video.